You're sitting there while everyone else is yelling at a screen. The game is on, the room is loud, and you're quiet. You nod when they cheer. You pretend to understand what just happened, but inside you feel distant. Not bored exactly, just untouched. You've tried to care. You've tried to force the excitement, but it never sticks. And somewhere between the noise and the celebration, a thought slips in. What's wrong with me? Because everyone seems to have something they obsess over. A team, a league, a season that gives their weeks meaning, and you don't. You hear them talk about loyalty, about passion, about living and dying with every score, and you wonder why you don't feel that fire. You scroll while they argue about stats. You watch the clock instead of the match. You wait for it to be over. Not because you're superior, not because you think you're different, but because it just doesn't reach you. And that absence follows you. At work, conversations start with last night's game. In groups, jokes are built on moments you didn't see. Even online, the world seems synchronized around something you missed. So you smile, you listen, you stay quiet. And over time, that quiet turns into something heavier. You start questioning yourself, your interests, your energy, your ability to belong. You wonder if you're missing a piece everyone else has. Because sports isn't just entertainment. It's identity, it's ritual, it's community. And when you don't share it, you can feel invisible. Not excluded loudly, just slightly out of sync. Days repeat, conversations repeat, the same questions, the same small talk, and beneath it all, a low-level frustration builds. Not at them, at yourself. You tell yourself maybe you should try harder, pick a team, learn the rules, care more. But forcing passion feels exhausting, so you default to comfort. You scroll, you distract yourself, you wait for the moment to pass. And later, alone, a quiet regret shows up. Not because you didn't watch the game, but because you feel like you're floating, unanchored, unclaimed by anything. And that feeling doesn't stay in sports. It leaks into how you spend your evenings, into how you treat your potential, into how often you say, tomorrow. You're not lazy, you're not broken, but you are stalled. And the stall doesn't come from not loving sports. It comes from something subtler. The invisible villain here isn't disinterest. It's comfort. Comfort that asks nothing of you. Comfort that fills time but not meaning. It's routine that keeps days predictable. Distraction that keeps questions quiet. Delay that whispers, you'll figure it out later. Tomorrow becomes a safe place. A place where your real life is always about to start. And slowly, without realizing it, you hand over your edge. Not to a team, not to a game, but to ease. You start living in spectator mode, watching other people care deeply, while you stay neutral. And neutrality feels safe. No disappointment, no loss, no heartbreak, but also no fire. And this is where the confusion turns sharper. Because deep down, you do want intensity. You do want something that demands you. You do want to feel invested. You just don't want it handed to you. Sports offers ready-made meaning. You inherit passion. You borrow stakes. And some people thrive in that. But some people are wired differently. They don't want borrowed meaning. They want earned identity. They don't want to cheer for someone else's discipline. They want to build their own. But without realizing it, you might be waiting for the same thing sports gives others. A reason, a structure, a sense of belonging. And when it doesn't arrive automatically, you drift. You tell yourself you're above it, or not interested, or just different. But avoidance and independence can look the same from the inside. And this is where everything changes. Because the truth is that you don't obsess over sports. It's that you haven't chosen what you do obsess over. Not consciously, not deliberately. Your attention is scattered. Your energy is unclaimed. And when nothing demands you, comfort steps in and fills the space. Motivation was never the issue. Identity was. People who obsess over sports aren't more passionate than you. They're just committed to something external. You're waiting for something internal to wake up. But identity doesn't wake up on its own. It's built. Quietly, privately, without applause. Discipline enters here, not as punishment, but as self-respect. Not schedules, not hacks, not rigid routines, but a simple inner agreement. I don't need noise to feel alive. I don't need borrowed excitement to justify my time. Discipline is when you stop asking what will entertain you and start asking what will shape you. It's control over your attention, power over your evenings, freedom from drifting. Not because life becomes easier, but because it becomes intentional. You stop measuring your life by what you enjoy and start measuring it by what you honor. People who live this way don't look loud. They don't argue about teams. They don't wear their identity on their chest. They move quietly. They train when no one is watching. They build when no one is cheering. They commit without needing validation. And that's why they don't obsess over sports. Not because they lack passion, but because they refuse to outsource it. They don't need weekly drama to feel alive. They don't need highs and lows that reset every season. They're playing a longer game, one where discipline isn't restrictive, it's liberating. Because when you respect yourself enough to keep promises you never announce, you stop feeling empty in loud rooms. You stop comparing your silence to other people's noise. You realize your calm isn't absence, it's unused depth. And depth doesn't demand attention, it demands responsibility. This isn't about rejecting sports or judging people who love them. It's about recognizing what kind of fire you're built for. Some people burn outward, some people burn inward, and inward fire takes longer to notice, but it lasts. So the question isn't why you don't care about the game. The question is, what are you willing to care about when no one is watching? What would happen if instead of waiting for excitement to find you, you chose one standard you refuse to break? Not loudly, not publicly, just honestly. Because one day, you'll be in the same room, the same noise, the same screen, and you'll feel calm instead of confused. Not because you finally fit in, but because you finally chose yourself. And the only question left then is, will you keep drifting quietly, or will you claim your attention before something else does?